Hey, it is Sunday morning, about 8:25, 8:30, back at Mountain Crossing. See all the shoes? And Gail just dropped me off, getting ready to head back down, and I'm gonna go right through here. Appalachian Trail walks right through the building. All right, just leaving Neel Gap. Gail just dropped me off into the Raven Cliffs Wilderness. So about 7.5 miles today, Sunday, March 7th, on starting day 5. And I think I'm going to the next shelter, 7.5 miles. I forget the name. Here I go. All right, well, just finished just the first mile. First mile was up, 520 feet up. So it was a good warm up to the day. It's very cold. It was 24 degrees when Gail dropped me off. The wind's blowing. So I'm having trouble with the poles maintaining their length. So I figured that out when I get to camp. But anyway, then it turned into this nice kind of meandering trail. Doesn't never seem to be straightaways. Just, and I'm looking down while I walk to, I think Catherine that asked me about that. But anyway, it's just a beautiful morning. It's cold, clear, sun's up, so I'm warming up quickly. But I enjoy the meandering for a while versus the upping for a while. Gotta get my other hand, turn it off. All right, well, I'm about a little over 2.5 miles through, but I've been hiking along this ridge for a while. It's beautiful. Gotta get a view to both sides. So that's pretty awesome. Wind's blowing a little bit more up here, of course. That's the trail I just came from. And back there, about 3/4 of a mile, I had my first fall. Kind of broke the record I was trying to tie all the way to Maine with no falls. So on day 5, and I've had a couple people tell me it's impossible. They don't think anybody's ever done it. Probably not. I was watching where I was stepping, but I was daydreaming at the same time, and it was a rock that was wet and a little bit muddy. And my foot just came to land on it too close to the edge, so it was just my heel, and boom, it just slipped out from underneath me like someone pulled the rug, and fell straight down on my ass. Unfortunately, I guess I have to look at it at some point, but it was landing right in the mud, so my butt just probably looked like I took a giant poop in my pants for the next however many days. I just washed them last night. So anyway, onward. I think only about 5 more miles to go to the shelter I plan to stop at. I'll see how I feel there, and if there's something within a mile or two after that, I may continue on. Alrighty, well, that's it. Hello. Just want to add, after that slip, it's illustrative of how your whole hike can come to an end in just one step. So you really got to be paying attention, looking down like I'm doing right now at the rocks, the roots, the trail. Sometimes there's little saplings that they cut and there's like an inch of it sticking up, or giant rocks that are just the tip of it sticking up out of the ground, or a root that's kind of grown up for about an inch and out. So even if the trail looks good and smooth, you just got to be cautious and paying attention. So I knew that, but good lesson learned. Right about 3 3/4 miles. I know this probably looks all the same. You see some ice on the rocks off in the distance. I'm not sure if it's showing the reflection showing up. These views are incredible. I'm sure they all look the same when I showed them. They're all totally different. Trails different, views different, wind, sun, everything. We're winding around. I also wanted to say that, oh, by the way, I'll report back. I passed 3 guys that are through hiking, and my butt is not covered with mud as I figured it was, so that's good to know. But as I'm hiking, especially uphill, you can feel the lactic acid building up in your legs. They start hurting. And I just go straight into my Wim Hof deep breathing. And right after 5 deep breaths, I just feel like it's all flushed away and I feel fresh. So I'm able to power up the hills without stopping. I don't go, I shorten my stride, but I'm able to keep going, and I'm not giving, I mean, I know my lungs are I've been doing this for so long, so many years, that my lungs are filling to capacity and then distributing that oxygen around my body. It's just feels awesome. I can almost feel it happening when it does. So anyway, I will try to pass that message on to as many hikers as I can, because I know everybody could benefit from this. All right, I'm at 4.9 miles and just saw this awesome bluff. Two guys hiking past me. I came across a Boy Scout troop, about 10 or 12 people with a couple guides and children, boys and girls, and they thought they were supposed to be where they were going. They had another mile and a third to go. This is just an awesome view. Can't help myself. Just this awesome weather. I'm not gonna always have these views. And just the trail comes across. They got the white blaze painted on this rock, just so you know which direction to go, which is this way into the trail. To it, I was just telling some of these guys that are behind me now that last night when I was at home, you know, I was thinking you could approach this two ways. You know, I was tired, my legs were tired, my knees hurt from coming down Blood Mountain. You know, I had a great meal. I could walk up to the refrigerator and get filtered water. And, you know, I could have been, you know, it's gonna be cold tomorrow. But I was like, oh, I can't wait to get back on the trail. I was excited, you know, anxious to get back and continue the journey. It's going so well. I'm loving it. Don't misunderstand me. I love my family. I miss my family. But so this is not about that. I love doing this. I love the challenge of it. I love the opportunity to learn more about nature, my people, myself. It's just it's an awesome way to, you know, my only job today is to get from point A to point B. It's just sometimes figuring out where point B is. Like today, I think I'm gonna go a little bit further and probably do 10 to 12 miles. One, 'cause I'll be at the gap here within probably 45 minutes to an hour, and it's early. It's only about 10:30 in the morning. But two, for me to get to Franklin, North Carolina by the 16th, so Gail can pick me up, and I want to be able to take a 0 day in between. I'm going to have to do 2 or 3 or 4 12-mile days to do that. So hopefully in 4 days I can get off and go into Helen, Georgia, or somewhere like that, and get in a hostel and take a day off. Hold on, big drop down. All right, I'm looking down, don't worry. Just kind of showing the trail too. Pretty rocky right here, but I understand it's all the way downhill. One of the scout leaders I was talking to, one of their leaders had some leg troubles or something, and he had to walk them out. So he had to walk them 2 miles last night and got to where their car was, direction I'm heading, at about 11:30 last night. Now it was 24 degrees down at Neel Gap, at the gap. And up in this mountain, or I know they were at a gap also, so that's probably similar to that. But he had to sleep in his car. He didn't have any of his gear. He was just shaking like a rattle this morning, he said. And he finally made it back up to reunite with all the scouts that I met up with. So I'm glad he's okay. The scouts didn't all look super excited, because I know last night had to be super cold for them. But I'm sure it's an experience they'll remember. I told him to tell him, look, just keep following the trail. In 5 months, you'll be in Maine. Anyway, maybe 1 or 2 of them will be inspired by their short stint on the trail this weekend and want to do that sometime in the future. All right, that's it. Just sat down to take a break after a grueling 300-foot ascent, when it had to be no more than 4/10 of a mile. I don't know. It was a lot, with a lot of high steps, low steps, rocks, roots, all that good stuff. But that mountain I'm pointing at is the one I just came down, and I don't know if it'll come through. Right below that tree branch, there's an outcropping of rocks. And that's where I stopped. I saw some people up there from here. That's where I stopped to get that great view. That's what people, there was probably 12, 15 cars in the parking lot at Destiny Gap. So seems like a popular day hike, about 1.5 miles to the top. And some wonderful views. This is the kind of day that you want to do it. So Gal, let's give this a shot at some point. It's beautiful. So I'm gonna rest for a few minutes, drink some water, and start down this hill. You probably can't tell, but straight ahead between the trees is the trail, and that's about the furthest I've been able to see ahead in terms of seeing the trail itself. That's kind of cool. Just continuing with the beautiful views. Been talking to another fellow hiker from Texas for a while, and about 3 miles to go to Liw Gap shelter where we're staying tonight. The Whitley, where I originally planned, I would have been there by noon, but it was 1.2 miles off the trail. It's like, no thank you. I'd rather invest that 1.2 miles in continuing to the next shelter. So I think by the end of the day it'll be about 11 miles or 11 and a half miles. But I still be there, you know, early afternoon sometime, get set up. So just continuing on the march. Feels great.